A very pleasant Monday lunchtime to you. Welcome into the CHGO Bears Podcast. Sans the mansion. That's right. Adam Hogue with the day off today. Somehow, some way, yours truly, Nick and Kevin, who is sitting in today, will have to carry you. There's so much to get into today, but I do want to give a belated happy Father's Day to all the dads out there in whatever form. Kevin, of course, you're the only one on the show that actually has real children, so congratulations to you, my friend. And you, Lawrence, of course. Of course, bad eyes by me. I was just staring this way. Lawrence and Kevin.
Got a birth certificate to prove it.
There you go.
Dog dad.
You're a dog dad. I'm kind of a dog dad. Yeah. You know, it was Father's Day is always a beauty. Took Papa Fred out for dinner. He was yelling at the waitresses. It was great. Which also, for the record, I won't give the location, but middle of Father's Day dinner, I put it in the Slack channel. In walks, Bears fans, Ted Phillips with his family. And I was like,
what was the reaction from fellow diners?
I don't think anybody noticed other than me, and I said loudly to my brother, "There's Ted Phillips."
Who? Didn't send over a drink or a celebratory?
No. I really did want to go over and be like, "So, Ted, this Waukegan and Naperville thing, it's complete bullshit, right? You guys are just messing around. I know you're still involved in some way, shape, or form, but I figured that Ted didn't want to hear from me."
My dad got a laugh out of that, the Waukegan, because from Waukegan, I showed him our segment. He's like, "Oh, it makes a lot of sense." So
you come on the beat full time. Ted resigns. The connection is clear. Carmen.
Yes. Well, I guess so. There.
Now he can't even go out to dinner without running into you.
No.
I'm seeing some. What are you pointing at, Nick?
Nice haircut, Carm. See, I told you it looks good. It's a fade. It's something I would get, Mark.
So right, we if you missed our content from Friday, we went out to the Demolition, and that sucked. But it was cool to be there. Appreciate the Bears and inviting us, and it's just painful seeing Arlington Heights seeing Arlington International Racecourse get taken down. I was never a huge horse racing guy, but I went plenty of times. It's an iconic spot, man. That's got nothing to do with the Bears, but like for horse racing fans, like I felt the pain.
Yeah, it made me go into my basement, and I tweeted out a picture of some old programs that I don't know why I still have them, but they're in my basement.
We did an entire CHGO pod. Is it the demolition of Arlington a sad event? And from a horse racing and just kind of a Chicago sports history perspective, and I think the answer is unequivocally yes. And then to see the footage that you put out there, and for my money, like a Friday afternoon at Arlington Park was just as good
Phenomenal.
as a Friday afternoon at Wrigley Field.
3 o'clock first post.
Party at the park. What do they call it?
Yeah, party at the park. Sure, yeah.
Get some tickets, hang out,
Finish
get
up
some
high
cheese
school.
fries from the food court. They had great cheese fries.
They had a great food court, period, and
Yeah.
they also it was just awesome back. Like even if you weren't a gambler back in the day, just to walk down to the, what do they call it, the paddock where they're walking around and you see the horses are so incredibly beautiful, and it's like, you want to pet them, you want to ride them, you want to all of it. It was just like it was a cool. I enjoyed being, and then I go up there and put $2 to win, place, and show on the 4-1 favorite and hope to make $7.
So what was like? I mean, the Bears invited everyone out there. You got out there, Nick. You went after the show. Mm-hmm. What was it like? When you got there, did they say, "Here's why you're here"?
So it was weird. I pull into the parking lot. There's 7 to 17 media, mostly everybody's cameraman. I don't see like the normal. There's no. I don't see Kevin Fishbane. The mansion is off in mansion land. Courtney Cronin's nowhere to be found. It's just random people, and me and Cheryl raced out basically from WBZ's out there. I'm like, all right.
I saw her in one of your videos.
Yeah. So this is going to be a lightly covered event here. They put it out in the morning. Who's going to get out to Arlington Heights in 3 hours? CHGO snaps into action.
Yeah, we're ready.
And then they're like, so the highlight of the whole thing, they had a construction leading person taking us in, and he gave this breakdown of what we were going to do. Okay, we want to make sure it's going to be safe for you. We're going to he gave like I'm like, aren't we just
This was his time to shine.
It was. I'm like, aren't we just walking up and taking a picture? He's like, there's going to be dust. The thing's going to be coming down. You're going to be. I'm like, and so he took his role super seriously, and I'm just sitting there like looking around like, is anybody else feeling how ridiculous this is, but and then we got out there and there was no.
Well, and then they gave you a red construction helmet, and people are dogging you on social media saying, "Why are you wearing a Kansas City Chiefs construction helmet?" Not knowing that it was the construction company that gave it to you. But the Bears probably should have had some sort of blue and orange thing ready, right?
So that's interesting because there were two options. The person who was handing out the helmets was like, are you in front of the camera or are you behind the camera? And he was giving black to behind the camera and red to in front of the camera. So which I don't know how you distinct that the red is more camera worthy than the black. I think the black kind of a little bit cooler. And yes, that thing is crooked and sideways on me. And I admittedly look generally like an idiot, but
that's what you were going for.
I was going for that, but yes and no. Like I was trying to wear it. I was supposed to wear it. Are we playing this, Lawrence?
No, we're not. I'm just
trying
to get the picture up though.
Okay, so whatever, red forward face, and they give you the glasses, they give you the thing.
Best,
but when we were coming out of there, they're like, they wanted it all back.
Yeah,
but the glasses were in like a plastic thing. Like you're taking used glasses back. Can't this be a parting gift for this moment in time here? Why can't I keep the glasses? And then Nick was out there like a little weirdo.
It's like going to a 3D movie. You got to give the glasses back.
I guess.
You go see Arlington Park get knocked down.
Well,
now, did they say why? Like, I don't know anything about Demolition. Absolutely nothing. Yeah. You probably don't either.
Yeah.
Though you probably know more now than you did on Friday morning. But
it's true, I do.
Like, why not just rig the thing and then just have the thing implode and?
So one of the guys out there, they talk about like no one's blowing anything up. We're not going to create some huge dust ball. We're going to take this down to the ground piece by piece. In essence,
it's too residential.
Yeah, I'm.
I mean, the Metra's right there. You don't want to get dust.
Don's barbershop is right there.
Yeah, my guy Don, who's cutting my hair.
The overhang is massive. I have no idea how they get that down.
Yeah, and then I thought actually the scariest job that anybody had out there was you had there was one woman who's holding a hose, just making everything wet. So I guess so there's no dust.
For the dust, yeah.
Yeah. So right, I'm a genius. I was figuring this out. Like, why are you out there with those? Oh, okay. So it's but she's like right there, and they're like taking the thing off, and I'm
like a garden hose.
Yeah, with a garden hose. I'm like
up close and personal.
Like that looks like a tough gig right now. I mean, I would be like this, this huge brags, what they call those things. You probably know. Excavator. Is it an excavator?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay, this huge excavator with these, Star Wars. Like I'm like that thing looks like anything could happen right now. Apparently not, but she's right there hosing it down. So
my question is this: all right, so they're out here, they're flirting with Naperville, they're flirting with Waukegan, but then they have the media come out and have a big show of them tearing down Arlington Park. So what is the strategy here?
I have the same question. Like why did the Bears want people out there to see this happen? Like what was the motivation for that? I don't have a good answer. Like we know that you're doing this. Is it like just like they're like sprinkling drops out to the public to see if there's going to be a freak out that this is happening and maybe we'll stay in Chicago? That seems like that ship is well past, except I'm the only one that won't accept it. Is this a negotiating ploy to Naperville and Waukegan? Like, see, we're still doing this, so up the ante. I really don't know.
Is there going to be more? I mean, is the media going to be allowed to attend more of the Demolition too?
No,
okay, so that was it.
I don't think so.
Okay,
that was
This is just a very. I mean, pick any period of Chicago Bears history of the last 40 years. It's been a weird time to be a Bears fan. Like, this is like really weird.
Yeah,
because.
It feels obvious that
the team is on the upswing.
Yeah.
You've got a possible franchise quarterback, we hope. And, like, if it was another part in Bears history, I would say, let's just fast forward 5 years. And, I would like to get past all this. But we're going to have to deal with all this posturing and all this, politicking. I guess it's great that we're going to have a good Bears team to actually root for. But, don't you just want to get past all this and see what happens?
Well, and I got a piece coming out later today about 2023 and the team, and it's we're in the same spot as always. It's all about the QB, but then the side part, like what is going to happen and where is Does people want to hear from Kevin Warren? I'd like to hear from Kevin Warren where we're at here, like a very layout. Look, we are not like I wouldn't mind a line in the sand. We're not doing this unless boom, boom, boom. I mean, he doesn't need to negotiate in the public. I mean, and he's probably a little bit smarter than me about all this type of stuff. But I'd be interested to hear like where they're at.
I'm just interested too. Like, how many more cities are going to get involved here? Right? You have Waukegan, Naperville, but who's to say that X, Y, and Z is not going to get involved while this is still an ongoing thing? Unless Arlington Heights, I would say, diverges off of what they've kind of is the big problem here, the tax on the stadium and how much it's going to cost. Like, who's to say that this won't continue ongoing?
Didn't DeKalb try to get involved before the renovation last time?
Did they?
I
don't think so.
I think they did because I remember I was working at good old WLBK 1360 AM. Shout out to Mark Baldwin, the great morning host back in the day, who's now playing the trumpet somewhere. I remember like the DeKalb trying. It's what
Is that a euphemism?
He's a musician. There's nothing going on there. Baldwin was a great man. Nobody knows who Mark Baldwin is. I get it, but just trust me. Great dude, loved him. Me, him, Jonathan Stage in the morning. So it was a hot show. But so I distinctly remember like the Bears, or like distinctly is a little too tall, but I have like vague remembrances of the Bears and DeKalb being a thing. So let's go to DeKalb. Why don't you get in there to your point, Nick?
I can't believe that Rosemont or Elk Grove Village
haven't
got involved. I mean, they've got mayors that love to get the headlines.
But that's the whole thing, right?
Bedford Park. Could we build a stadium down there?
I mean, in the video that we did last time, like Highwood, let's go. Put right next to the Nightingale, and let's all have a hooting time. All right, let's segue. There's a lot going on here. Nick wants to talk about training camp battles coming up, but I do think we should, just as we wrap up Father's Day, can we hear from Jordan Love talking to Bears fans, Lawrence? This was a great little weird, confusing moment from the Packers starting quarterback. I think most people have seen it, but if you haven't, this was Jordan Love wishing Bears fans a happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to all the Bears fans out there. Go Pack, go.
So, and then people... Now, he's commented on this like he was doing it as a favor. We'll pull up the tweet. You know, you could see it there. Was asked to do a special favor for this fan, and there's the fan, solid Bears fan. I'm sure he's a huge fan of CHGO. Didn't think much of it, but I see y'all really took and ran with it. Okay, so yes, Jordan, we did, because you just called us your daddy, which we are.
It's kind of the opposite. He's saying that we're his father.
Right.
I
said it wrong.
He's a child, and he's going to get his brains beaten in for the next season or however many seasons he's there.
Did you see Jaquan Brisker, too? He kind of
Brisker
clapped back at him. He's like, he can't even get the thing right in terms of like how to like talk smack. So I don't know. Jordan Love is now entering. He's going to see full force this Bears-Packers rivalry.
I was going to say, Jordan Love just got a crash course in realizing that you're a starting quarterback in the NFL and not completely invisible behind Aaron Rodgers.
Shots have been fired. Love it.
And he's with
So I'm confused. That was a Bears fan or a Packers fan who asked him to do
Braggs, who is broken in the chat here, he says, give Chris from London an official shout-out for the video.
So it was a Bears fan who actually asked him to do that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Chris.
I thought, I read it. I saw it the opposite way that Lawrence just pointed out how it's supposed to be viewed. So I thought he was.
No.
Which is why I did the Sopranos thing.
My biggest takeaway from this is that Jordan Love just seems like a very nice guy, a friendly Jordan Love, and he's just here to hang out and do whatever anybody asks him, which is exactly what we want out of a Packers quarterback. Dude's just gonna chill.
Don't do it.
He's just happy Father's Day to the Bears fans out there. All right.
I guess I do like to see poor decision making from the starting quarterback of the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
Exactly. That is a straight sign that interceptions are to come. They're absolutely positively right around the corner. So Jordan, hope you had a great day yesterday, and as you have seen, we are all paying attention to you. All right, now that that's put to bed, we can get into your position battles here, Nick. And I know you want to start with the running back coming out of minicamp, with training camp now 38 odd days away. Yeah,
I think the position battles are. It's interesting because there's obviously a lot that still needs to be figured out with this Bears roster, but I think the biggest one that's going to take most of the headlines as we're looking 38 days from now when training camp begins, who's going to be the running back RB1. And I think Khalil Herbert has that right now. But we still haven't seen any of these guys do what is arguably one of the most important things for this offense is their ability to block and protect Justin Fields. David Walker, the running backs coach, was really high on just whatever guy is going to be the bell cow, if you will. They got to be able to block.
Yep.
And we haven't been able to see any of that in OTAs or minicamp. There's not a lot of contact being made. So when you look at a guy like Khalil Herbert, didn't have the best pass blocking last season. We know that Roschon Johnson has been praised about his ability to pass block. And Deontay Foreman is a guy that I think can do a little bit of everything. But when you look at the running back battle, and I said this on Friday's show when I was with Will, like whichever one of these running backs can be the most consistent pass blocker, I think they're going to be the one that's going to see a lot of the carries when the season actually starts. Because I think all three of these guys have the vision and capability to run between the holes, can read this wide zone scheme. So whichever one of these guys I think can be the best pass blocker may be the guy that, hey, Luke Getsy's going to run with for a series, maybe more than that. So it's going to be interesting how this all plays out in training camp.
To me, what's super interesting is how often are they going to keep it on the ground? Mm-hmm. And like if you were splitting carries right now, but so let's say they split carries between Dante and Khalil, right? Mm-hmm. So are each one of them getting 10 to 13, something like that?
Maybe, yeah.
8 to 12, somewhere in there. So call it 20. And then Fields is going to rush the ball how many times? 5 times? That's 25. Yeah. We're at half already of the plays, in essence, are going to be on the ground. Plus, then, you could have is Roschon going to get a couple knocks here and there? Will they
have some jet sweeps?
Well, yeah, right. You can do something with Velus if he makes the football team. We'll get to Velus in a little bit here. But to me, when we do the position battles, like I look at the running back thing is it's just going to be a straight split. Like it really doesn't matter who is going to start because I think they're both going to get the football a ton.
I'm looking in the comments. We have Rob with Deontay Foreman will win it to start the season. You have Alex. Roschon does it all. He's going to win to start the job. So we have some fluctuation here on – and look, Khalil Herbert's not even mentioned there. So I think it's going to be a position battle that a lot of people are paying attention to.
Look, if Roschon wins the job, that'd be the greatest thing ever because that means he's like off the charts, just dominating.
Do everything, yeah.
Khalil Herbert led the NFL last year in yards per carry at 5.7. Let's not that's okay. I know that's not the most exciting thing to any Bears fan, including me, but it's worth noting that the dude had a very good year. Mm-hmm. So just to say that Dante Foreman's going to take his job feels a little tall to me. However, Dante Foreman, he had a great year last year, and just seeing him in a Bears uniform, that dude is ripped. Yeah, and he is he is tree trunks for legs. That guy is going to run people over. And as weird as it may sound, dude was incredible getting ready to stretch before each minicamp. Lawrence, his flexibility.
Not showing it, but yeah, it looks. I'm glad.
Guy does a great pigeon. Phenomenal pigeon. And what's that other one that...
We're talking about stretching poses?
Like the clay or the something. I don't know what the hell he does.
I need to do them because
we're going to learn a lot about Foreman and Roschon Johnson. We already know what we know about Khalil Herbert, although we don't know about him in that role without David Montgomery getting in the way. But
true, yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see because obviously Foreman and Roschon Johnson are going to have their drawbacks. But right now, with where we're sitting, it seems like the sky's the limit with those guys, right? Like,
sure.
This is great. I want to ask you this: when's the last time a fantasy football draft rolled around and a Bears wide receiver was by far going to be taken way off the board before the Bears running back?
So that's a great transition to the wide receiver spot, and it's like, okay, we got to go back to Brandon Marshall. It's been more than a minute here.
But even then, Forte was probably going before Marshall.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And that's like the DJ Moore thing is such an enormous development for the Bears that they actually have somebody that's going to bring some level of calm to the quarterback. Like the Bears have done nothing but shake up Justin Fields. Hey, here's a first year of complete disaster. These dudes have no idea what they're doing. They're going to start Andy Dalton, not get you ready at all, and then go out there against Cleveland with the best defensive line in football with no plan and go get yourself killed, and then we'll figure it out from there. Now we're going to bring in a completely different regime, first-time head coach, first-time OC, all this, and we're going to diminish the roster, even though we're going to give you Chase Claypool, one major addition, but he's not going to be able to figure anything out, so it's not going to help you at all. And so now, and by the way, we're going to mess with your footwork too.
Yep.
Now, finally going into year 3, okay, you've been here, you get the program, you may not love it. I don't think he does, but this is what it is, so he's doing his best to adapt. And now you have this guy who actually has had success in the league, and you can lean on him. And not surprisingly, or maybe a little bit surprisingly, because everything seems to, you always get disappointed, but not surprisingly, I guess, they have instant chemistry. So I think it's a huge thing, which is why, by the way, if you're, Kevin, to your point, fantasy-wise, I draft DJ Moore. The guy's going to have the ball in his hands a ton.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And when we're looking at the wide receivers, there's no discrepancy about, him and the position battle. When I'm looking at position battles for the wide receiver group, there is a lot of guys in the room right now. And last season, the Bears kept 7 wide receivers on the 53. Tajay Sharp was actually waived before the season started, but he made the initial 53. So I'm thinking that number comes down to 6, you guys. So if we're looking at 6 wide receivers potentially making this 53-man roster, you have DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, Chase Claypool. Let's put Tyler Scott, the rookie, as your 4th guy. Equanimous 5. And then you have 2 guys who I think they've shown some stuff in training camp or mini camp a little bit. But Dante Pettis, who also is your return man, your punt returner, showed to be the most consistent guy at that position. And Velus Jones Jr. right now. Ryan Poles' 3rd-round draft pick, his only wide receiver drafted in his first draft. And he's shown a little bit in minicamp so far, and he's been getting some reps as a punt returner also in minicamp, so maybe trying to show his versatility. But if you had to keep just 6, I think in Dante Pettis or Velus Jones Jr., maybe the guy's fighting for that final spot.
Do we think anybody would give the Bears a 6th-round pick for Velus Jones Jr.?
Absolutely not.
I said a 6th-rounder, like literally nothings. Because, so it's a bad spot for Velus. It's a bad spot for the Bears. Like I don't see a logical path for him to make the team unless he can actually show that he can return both punts and kicks. Like he needs to be able to do that.
And he has such a niche role too.
He's not as good. He's not even close to as good of a receiver as Dante Pettis. And the reason why I think it matters too is like you don't know if Claypool's going to be healthy. You don't know if Darnell Mooney's going to be healthy.
True.
Which is why I know it's not happening, but I'm just paying attention to DeAndre Hopkins, who met with the Patriots, and then the ESPN's Jeremy Fowler is reporting that he's in no rush to sign with a team and has considered waiting until closer to training camp. And him and Belichick have a strong relationship, and the Bears have shown no interest, so I don't think this is going to happen. But if
Mooney's comeback is slow, do you consider it at all?
Right. So that's the thing. Like, you get to training camp, Mooney's got, screws in his feet. He's not ready to go. The Bears are nervous about it. The season is about Justin Fields. Mm-hmm. You'd be bringing in a vet with a significant personality who's going to want the football into that room. But you also have a very experienced guy in DJ Moore. Like, would you do it at that point? So to me, it's at least something worth considering mentioning, because you want Justin Fields to be successful, and I know that he's not in his prime, but like Hopkins might be a guy that could help make that happen.
Back to Velus quickly, Nick.
Yeah.
I want to know from your perspective, does him being a 3rd-round draft pick give him any edge in the second year, give him any protection in the second year from being cut, or do you think at this point?
I'd say yes.
Yeah,
You think it still does?
I think so.
A little.
for Ryan Poles, I think for him, it's like, can you be okay with if he doesn't pan out that you can move on from him?
Yeah.
I don't know if he wants to make that decision right now in year 2, right? When there was so much dysfunction on the Bears offense. And Velus was playing a little bit better towards the end of the season. He was even as a wide receiver, but I think it does give him a little bit of protection. And ultimately, if you're looking for that 6th guy, I think Velus can make it. Can you put Dante Pettis on the practice squad with the new rules in place? You can, but would he get poached? I don't know how many people are looking for a Dante Pettis right now. I don't have the answers to that, but
Yeah.
I think Ryan Poles will look at this like, hey, let's give him another shot, another year in this offense to build with Justin Fields here. Yes, maybe he's more inclined to only be a vertical threat and go on those jet sweeps, but it's like I never see I can't envision Velus Jones Jr. being like a complete wide receiver in this offense or in the league.
See, my whole thing is he's coming off a rookie season in which he put the ball on the ground multiple times in high leverage situations. So at what point over training camp do you convince the leadership that you're not going to do that anymore? Like, can they take that risk putting that guy back there even from...
So okay, let's just talk that through to its conclusion. You're the Bears coaches, right? Are you, hey buddy, preseason game number 1, you're back there. Let's see it.
Yeah.
Yes or no? Like, we know what we have in Dante. I don't need to see you return that punt. Have you seen? You're going to do it just fine. But I mean, that's to be better than Pettis doing it. That's not going to be.
It's not going to be easy.
It's not an easy putt. It's just not.
We did see flashes from Velus and a couple points last year, but it was way overweight. And by the way, shout out to Velus because that's helped secure the number 1 pick. But
good job.
Excellent
performance by 12. Velus is very likable. He's
sure.
He's appreciated in the locker room. From what I can tell, at least, he's also. He's a jokester. He's more of a fun-loving dude. And I'm not, anybody that got
so
to
he's
this,
the Dalen Terry of the Bears, is what you're saying.
He has a little bit of Dalen Terry. Okay. He does. That's not a terrible call. I would say he's a little more serious.
It's not a great comparison either when it comes to on field or on court.
But I think that's I think that's actually a pretty good comparison. Dalen's I think a little bit more in the relaxed crew.
Yeah.
Than Velus, and anybody who makes it to the NFL, the NBA, you've got a level of incredible seriousness and competitiveness that nobody on this set has. Massive respect to all of you. However,
I don't know, man, you guys are going to go out and win softball win number 3 tonight.
We are going for number 3 tonight.
Don't sell yourself short.
It's very true. We have we're missing some key spots now. We're going to be Herb. We're missing you, buddy.
That's a big one.
Yep. And Sean made his debut last week. Had a big night. Ryan had a big night. Everybody's just
contributing.
It's tough wrangling this crew here, Kevin. I don't know how you do it every single day. I mean, where's the dedication? All right, so we hit the running backs, we hit the receivers.
There is a super chat about the running backs.
Sure.
Let's knock that out real fast here from the Bears Bastard for $9.99. Thank you, sir or ma'am. Flus strikes me as the sit-and-wait type no matter what Rojo does in camp because he's a rookie. Don't think he starts until back half of the season, even though I think he's the best all-around back.
I don't know if I agree with that because Flus will start rookies. Like, we've seen it. Like, out of necessity, he had to do it last year, but they're like Tyreek Stevenson's a guy that's he's going to be your starting cornerback opposite of Jalen Johnson. So I think for Flus, like, if he sees the talent, maybe it takes a little bit of time, but I don't think he's going to wait to put somebody out there if he thinks they're better.
He didn't last year. I got no problem playing rookies. I mean, he didn't wait on Brisker. He didn't wait on Gordon. I mean, we all know that last year was a growth year. It would have been insane if he did. But let's give some respect again to Herbert and Foreman of what they've done in the league. He's got there's not no one in front of him. It's going to take a second. All right, get fitted out in the best sports gear around. Do it with Foco, hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, and everything in between. It's spring and baseball season is here. Cubs are getting a little more interesting than I thought they would. Congratulations to the Cubbies. Aloha shirts, straw hats, polo bags, everything you need for a game. And, of course, our set decorations. Foco has donated a few awesome pieces for our sets. Thank you to Foco. We appreciate that. Check out Foco.com or click the link in the description below for all non-presale items. Use that promo code CHGO. You get 10% off.
And you got to check out Shady Rays. Take on the sun with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered for the warm weather ahead. For premium, polarized shades at an affordable price, Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've worn here at CHGO. Durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. I have my Shady Rays over there so I can go and use them, have my eyes protected, look good while wearing my Shady Rays, always in my car, easy access. And what's awesome is if you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they'll send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have you back long after your purchase. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is going to give you the best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use the code CHGO for 50% off 2 or more polarized shades. Try for yourself. The shades are rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people.
And a reminder that the CHGO Bears off-season coverage brought to you by the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program. Learn more at ComEd.com/powering biz. All right, let's take a quick look around the rest of the position battles. Then we're going to do some stock up, stock down. And then, teasing out the rest of the show, I'm looking around at the rookies and what they're doing, and I've got some jealousy going on that I want you guys to maybe settle me down about. All right, D-line. Where are you, Yannick Ngakoue? Are you signing today with the Bears, or is it tomorrow? Herb Howard, can you get Yannick Ngakoue in here?
Come on,
Love seeing Herb in the comments. Appreciate you, Herb. You're my guy. Even though you've turned me down for scout seats, you've turned me down for playing softball with us. You're just, turning Carm down. It hurts. It hurts my heart. Don't worry, everybody else has turned me down for the scout seats. Sorry. It's got nothing to do with the White Sox. I'm sure it's all just about me.
No, it's about that horrific organization on the south side. They're terrible.
There you go.
Wait, the food's free, though?
5.5 back.
Food's free?
Food and drink, brother.
Good food.
I gotta go.
Lawrence is
But
down.
you need me. I need more. I need.
I don't get you. There's no notice. There's no notice. I get them 2 hours before.
Okay, well.
But I'm just gonna create a long list. All right. Next time I get them. All right. D-line. DeMarcus Walker, Travis Gibson, Dominic Robinson. What do you got here? Who's going to be the starter? Nick, tell us. I can feel it.
Who's the odd man out in that? If you're looking at 2 defensive ends, and I'm penciling in DeMarcus Walker as one of the starters.
Who are the tackles?
The tackles?
Yeah.
The defensive tackle? That's a part of this defensive line, too.
Yeah.
Justin Jones is going to be a starter,
yeah,
for sure, on the inside. Is it Andrew Billings? Is it Javon Dexter? Is it Zach Pickens? I mean, you have a bunch of guys that I think can play multiple positions. So, but it better be I would say your second round draft pick that you got in Javon Dexter.
It better be Javon Dexter. Well, the best scenario for the Bears is if it's Javon Dexter, who's jumping into a little preview of our stock up. That dude got a lot of love coming out of minicamp. But okay, keep going.
But yeah, just look at the defensive line, and obviously there's going to be a lot of rotations happening. So a lot of these guys are going to get on the field, but the big thing with Travis Gibson this year, now he's playing both sides. That wasn't a thing that he did last season. So I wonder if that's like the coaching staff. Well, you're not going to be in the position that DeMarcus Walker's going to play in. Can you play on the opposite side? And when you look at Travis Gibson's career, he really hasn't lined up, I think would be on the left side of the defensive line. So is Dominic Robinson, we haven't heard a lot about Dominic Robinson in OTAs or minicamp. Can he ascend to have a good, strong year too? So for me, it's I don't think does it really matter who ends up starting. I don't know if that's a big thing, but because these guys are going to come in and out. But Travis Gibson is a guy that had a disappointing season. Outside of week 1 for Dominic Robinson, it wasn't that great. So
these guys are all on academic probation, like I was after my first semester at Iowa. And you're either going to make it right now,
I
or
lived on that at Iowa.
What's that?
I lived on academic probation at Iowa.
I mean, it was.
And then I left Iowa.
hey, there you go.
I will always be grateful for my Hartford Hawk teammate who came in and perhaps helped me in a very significant way with a midterm exam.
Kirkwood Community College, shout out for the semester.
There you go. Hey, just got to get it done, however way you get there. But they're all on. These guys are all on probation. Dominic, last shot at it, brother. Can you do it? Same thing. Same thing for. I think this is the end of the line for Travis Gibson, and I am optimistic that both those dudes can have a lot bigger impact this year with more help around them. But the problem is that there isn't we didn't go out and get the guy in the middle that's going to set everything up for those guys. I mean, maybe Jervon can step in and have a nice rookie season, but it's a lot to put on his shoulders, and clearly Justin's not that guy. So it's still an edge guy on the Bears is going. You're going to have to be really damn good to have an impact, which is the scariest thing right now for me about the football team.
Yeah, and I'm looking at, so Rob has a good comment here, and this is something that we actually talked about. I think it was one of the shows that we did, Mark, but about Travis Gibson being double-teamed a lot because there wasn't anybody else that the opposing teams had to worry about. So it's like, all right, I guess we'll take away Travis Gibson. So having more guys in the interior that will rotate, keep each other fresh, should help out a guy like Travis Gibson. So I think you should see better numbers hopefully across the board for these guys, but it's still a group where there are questions about it. You hope that the defensive pressure is going to be better. It needs to be because your safety cannot lead your team in sacks this year. Like if Jaquan Brisker does that again, we have a major issue with this Bears defense. But yeah, it's a good point brought up by Rob there.
Jaquan Brisker, God bless him, but he's doing a lot of talking.
He is.
Justin Fields' best quarterback in football. He's going at Jordan Love.
He's letting Tyler Scott know when he dropped a pass in camp.
He called Tyler Scott, dropped one at the goal line. If people missed that show on Thursday or whatever, and Jaquan Brisker's right there to give him the too big for the moment for you, or too big of a moment for you.
Love
Jaquan. What's your concern level on the defensive line right now? 1 to 10.
12. It's up there for me.
I'm
way up there.
I'm a 6 right now. I'm at a 6.
He's a more measured person, but
I don't think
so.
That's
It's probably a 9.
I think that's like it's
going to be better because you have better on the interior though. Like the Bears did not have that. They didn't have guys in the interior. They didn't, and I think that really does help the edges in this scheme.
You can't tell a lot from OTAs and minicamp, but going out there and looking at Dexter and looking at Pickens, do you say, okay, these are guys we're going to be able to build around?
I think Shervon Dexter especially. And, when they made the pick, I was not the biggest fan of Shervon Dexter. You watch and see the slow get off.
So slow off the line.
Yeah, that was a big thing. But the more we've seen him in person, the more again, this may mean nothing at all, but he was the one guy chasing after Justin Fields on a run over to the right side on a QB keeper. And okay. Shervon Dexter gets it. He gets the hustle, the intensity, everything that the Bears coaching staff wants. And now that he's going to be with other guys, he can rotate in and out, which he didn't have at Florida. Mm-hmm. He's going to – I think he could be a troublemaker inside,
Let's hope so.
say the least.
He needs to pan out. I mean,
yeah.
That pick is so huge. You give away the top of the second, bottom of the first for Chase Claypool.
Yep.
You can't waste that pick, too. I mean,
look, if they are going to win football games this year, I think two things are going to happen outside of the overall obvious that Justin's just got to get to the next level. But they're going to have an effective run game, and the D-line is going to have to be significantly better than last year. And it's entirely possible. Mm-hmm. It could happen. Dexter could have a huge impact. Zach Pickens could flash. Whatever. And whoever they're going to add, I would bet a significant amount of money that there will be somebody else put in the mix before we get to training camp. His face lit up when he was asked about it, so I expect that to be there. And DeMarcus Walker's talking a very positive game too. So
for sure, yeah.
So maybe there will be something. He had 7 sacks last year, so that's not anything. A couple of other positions: strong side linebacker Noah Sewell versus Jack Sandberg. I don't know why this is on the list that you put down there. That's. But until the Sand God gets back on the field, I suppose it's a slight. And people are saying that Sewell showed something.
He's athletic, man. He's got intangibles, Mark.
Okay.
But I know Jack Sanborn. He's gonna be ready. Come training camp.
I'm not sweating that. Backup cornerback Kendall Vildor, Jalen Jones, Terrell Smith. Smith did not practice in minicamp, and Vildor's making nearly $3 million.
Yeah.
So, but the Bears can afford that. It's not a ton of money, but it's significant for a backup. Super chat from the Bears Bastard, which is where we're at with the corners. Who does Stevenson compete with? Vildor? I get what you're saying, but there were way more holes. Running back could be the deepest position. I agree. We all agree, I think. That room is stacked. But who is he competing with? Rookies. That's who he's competing with, and maybe a little bit of Josh Blackwell, I suppose, a drop, but not really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think for Kindle Vildor, I mean, I don't know if shouldn't be shocking, but when you move up to go get a guy like Tyreek Stevenson, like it's bound to happen that he's coming for your job, and unless you can consistently show that you are the better corner on whether it's OTAs, minicamp, training camp, you're fighting for your job every single day, and it just seems that already at this point, without the pads on, that Bears coaching staff said we want to see more Tyreek Stevenson, which I think is the right move. But for Kindle Vildor, it's got to be, you can't feel good about it as you're kind of going
Gary
about
Ross,
it.
I'll make you a bet that Kindle does make the team.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I think they'll pay him. We're not talking about $10 million. We're talking about $3 million.
It's a good backup to have.
2.7.
On a team with plenty of money.
With plenty of money, which, again, plenty of opportunity for the Bears to overpay for a couple of one-year guys and free that money up again next year. I'm assuming that we're going to see that from Ryan Poles here before or during training camp. All right, last one, swing tackle. Come on, Larry Borum. Come on, Kellen. Is it Deech? Is that how you say it? The Deecher?
Yeah.
Where's my? You're not throwing in the interior.
I mean, these are just the ones that I came up with, but I mean, the center position could be
Center position's up for grabs, man. Doug Kramer's got a battle on his hands.
with Dieter Easelin is the other guy that kind of starts at center in the second and third string.
ILL. Doug Kramer, I'm betting on you. You're
Coming back from injury.
You're the
Ready?
little engine that could, Doug Kramer. I love a good undersized center who just fights his way and just somehow makes it in the NFL. I will be rooting for him. And actually, in going back to the cornerbacks, Herbert's making a good point to him. I'm a Jalen Jones guy. He's going to be a factor in this backup competition. He absolutely will.
Yeah.
He got better as the year went on last year, 100%.
Absolutely.
So, well, that makes me Gary, to that point, you might win that bet that I just made with you, but I'll still remain positive. All right, quickly. Stock up, stock downs out of minicamp. And then we're going to have a freak out at the end of the show that you all want to be here for.
Okay.
Stock ups. This is who we put down. DJ Moore, which it's kind of amazed that his stock. You just put another one in there that I don't agree with, but okay.
You don't agree with? Okay.
No, I don't. But DJ Moore, I put down Tyler Scott. I thought he was all over the field. He did have a drop at the goal line, but his speed was evident. And when you look at that banged up room, I do think that he has a chance to be more than a practice squad guy here. Plus, I'd like to see him. I wonder if he'll get some opportunity to return some kicks / punts come training camp / preseason. Tyreek Stevenson, no doubt. DeMarcus Walker, Bears put him in front of the media. That guy could have a huge impact. You put in Jaquan Brisker. I would not put stock up for him, but you can explain why.
Okay. I just think he's made a bunch of plays throughout OTAs and minicamp, and the pick 6 that he had on Justin Fields, just having, I think, a presence in the back end of that Bears defense. I think he's having a good camp so far.
Okay, I stand down.
A little debatable.
Jervon Dexter, I put him in there because everybody's is a lot of positive comments about Jervon and his size, and then you're putting in Justin Fields. Why is Fields a stock up?
I think if you look at the totality, if you look at OTAs and minicamp, I would say he's better. He played better than the bad days, right? I mean, when you look at OTAs, he was there wasn't a
but like that low bar.
Well,
Like,
we're just putting stock up.
Yeah,
stock
yes,
down.
he's played better, but I think he's like I'm not saying he has
Without Darnell Mooney, without Chase Claypool, and already aren't you excited about the DJ Moore Justin Fields connection? Did you think it was going to happen just like that, Mark? Seeing these deep touchdown passes, the in between double coverage. Did you think that was going to happen in OTA's minicamp this quickly?
That's fair. I still wouldn't necessarily say stock up for Fields. To me,
Stock level?
Stock level.
Okay.
I'm holding a higher
High bar for
yes.
Justin.
I want
Okay,
it like
I get
for,
that.
for a real like. I don't know, Kevin. You got any thoughts on the stock up, stock down?
I think we're at a point where you can kind of evaluate the individual day by day performances. I think that's fair, but just in kind of terms of like we don't really know what's going to happen until the games actually start to play.
For sure.
Everyone else we're talking about are rookies and new additions.
Nick just wants to give Fields love. It's cool. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
I literally just put that in here as we're doing it.
I got no real problem with it. I just, and Robert Friel, cram being cram again. I'm holding high bar, man. I'm holding high bar for Fields. I'm not just going to give him flowers for,
Yeah, like when I say Justin Fields' stock is up, yes, but it's based on a lot of what he did in 2022, not necessarily anything that he did, and the addition of DJ Moore.
What he can do.
Yeah,
we're projecting here. Yep,
it's hard. I mean, when you're talking about someone established, someone who's been here for a few years, it's like, okay, well, what would you really need to do in an OTA or a mini camp to really, kind of shoot up? I don't know.
Yeah, I'll tell you what he would need to do from my standpoint is not be as up and down as he was. He was up and down. And
was he up and down? He had like one bad practice.
No, it was more than that.
More than that?
Yeah, we only commented on one bad practice.
Oh.
There was like, you'd walk out of there like, wasn't great, but we're not going to say anything. It was okay. It was fine. No big deal. And it is no big deal.
But let's not
listen,
overreact to this part.
There's whispers around that building that the Bears are not, they don't know yet either. Now, there's also whispers all around from, published reports that he's slinging it all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, we shall see. We shall see. Stock downs, we put Velus Jones Jr. on there, Chase Claypool. Darnell Mooney's a stock down for me right now. Until he gets healthy, the fact that this is still lingering, and when pushed on it, that Flu said there may be setbacks.
Mm-hmm.
That perked my ears up. And, Nick, you threw Dominic Robinson on there because you just don't like 91.
No. I mean, 91 works out as a Bears fit. I hope Dominic Robinson has a great 2023 season. I didn't really notice 91.
I didn't notice
again,
it, but it's nobody gets noticed.
It's OTAs, mini camp. So training camp, 91, Dominic Robinson. Want to see you either beat Darnell Wright or Braxton Jones off the edge. That would be good to see.
You're making a bet against him. That's what's happening.
Let's do it.
All right. I got some rookies across the league that stock is up and stock is down, and that's interesting as far as the Bears are concerned. As far as I'm concerned, we'll do that in a second. But CHGO, supported by the Goose Island Beer Company. We love our friends at Goose Island, Chicago's beer. Since 1988, the Goose IPA, the Tropical Beer Hug, the 312 Wheat Ale, which I drink daily, the Full Pocket Pills, which the Mansion has in his refrigerator. Grab an ultra-fresh brewery-exclusive beers at Goose Island's original brew house. That's on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park. Or head on over to their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown. Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's
I'll tell you one
beer.
thing. My brother-in-law, Pete, made a dent into my summertime.
Oh,
He went after it.
You went after it.
Did Pete contribute with anything? And
He
give
did not. No.
Cooking, cleaning, bottle of
Just
wine.
came
Put a
over and
dent.
drank. He came over and drank some of the beers. It was fine.
That's
I drink some of his beers on occasion.
Okay.
But
All right.
he did like the summertime, though.
It's
a good one.
Very
It's
refreshing.
delicious.
Tastes really good. Got to tell everybody about the Carman Energy Efficiency Program, which is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities they serve, helping manage energy usage and lower energy bills now and into the future.
Yep. ComEd offers a wide variety of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial, industrial, and public sector customers of all sizes across the territory. ComEd also offers free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities like for HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, or industrial processes.
Kevin, lots going on there. How exactly does it all work?
Well, this is how it works, Nick. An authorized engineer works with you to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and needs. These can be done in person or virtually, and they last approximately 2 hours. Within 3 to 4 weeks, customers will receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects that they can start working on immediately. Each recommendation will include estimated energy savings, project cost, potential incentives, and simple payback. If you own a business, do not wait.
Well, you can get started saving money and energy today. For energy-saving tips, lighting incentives, or to schedule your free facility assessment, go to ComEd.com/poweringbiz.
Did you say ComEd.com/poweringbiz?
I sure did. So go schedule it today.
Let's go.
On tomorrow's show, we're going to take a look at some potential contract extensions when the Hogalicious comes calling back. And we got some special guests that I will not release right now who are going to be coming in studio as well. So that's exciting. A lot going on here as we keep you entertained heading into training camp.
We're remote tomorrow.
Right, so we'll do it on the remote show then tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
But no special guest tomorrow.
That show's at noon, right? Tomorrow?
That show's at noon.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
All
Is this
noon.
Bragg special guest or a different special guest?
No, it's not a Bragg special guest.
Okay.
That's a whole nother.
That's a Bragg's guest.
Yeah. That's right. That'll be on Bragg's After Dark Wednesday night at 8:00.
After dark.
Bad.
Did you see Bragg's home improvement project? Like extended his
I
driveway.
wasn't impressed, honestly. I gotta be honest.
You weren't impressed?
I was not impressed. I thought there'd be bricks, and it was just those like big, those big square
Yeah.
things. That it didn't look that
It looked
great.
level.
Oh, I'm sure it was perfectly level, but
Looked better than what I would do. So.
I wouldn't do it.
The guy steps away from bricklaying for 5 seconds, and he already has to take on a massive project to fill just fill the hole. I get it. By the way, I need shelves put in. I need my what do you call those things that help with the sound with the TV?
Soundbar?
The sound bar, right? Yeah, that. Gregory, you owe me 2 lunches. We could trade that out for some other
labor.
stuff. It's too long. We can make a third bet if you'd like to, so I could really get there. All right. So, eye on other training camps. Let's go to Carolina first.
Okay, going to Carolina.
You guys see how Bryce Young is doing?
No, I haven't paid attention too much to Bryce Young. How's that little guy doing?
You see this, Kevin?
I'm seeing it now in Notion.
Yeah. Bryce Young has been, quote, as advertised, living up to all expectations the Panthers had when they selected him number 1 overall. From his ability to process information to making all the throws to earning the respect of his teammates. This is David Newton writing at ESPN.com. Listen to this. He's on a clear path to be the week 1 starter. He's already been elevated past Andy Dalton. Quote from DJ Chark, everybody is here for him, and we believe he can take us to some really high places. Now, does anybody having a heart attack reading that?
No.
Even a mini heart
Two
attack.
reactions here. One, this is exactly the line that should be coming out of camp when you draft a number 1 guy overall.
But it's not
No one's
coming
going to say that they suck.
But you're right. But they're not saying the same thing on C.J. Stroud and or Anthony Richardson. Keep going.
Number 2, this is exactly what we should have been hearing about Justin Fields going into the 2021 season.
We weren't hearing it.
And instead we're saying Andy Dalton is QB1.
Well, that was a Matt Nagy in the comments problem. He's now talking about passing on Young as a mistake. You're a funny man, Matt Nagy. Yeah, that's right. Fields they absolutely made a mistake in not figuring out that he should have been the starter. And Herb's like, good for Bryce, just go 0-17.
Bryce Young, impressive young man, right? Mm-hmm. Still has not played an actual snap preseason or otherwise. Like, let's pump the brakes here a little bit.
Okay.
And
fair, rational take.
and
I'm just telling. Are you? How's this? Will you be paying attention remotely closely to how Bryce Young does this year?
Absolutely, because we need him to drop a lot of games.
Okay.
True. Yeah.
I will be
For the
more
Bears
upset
draft
if he is good because it means the Bears have a worse pick, rather than like if people actually go and do, 2020 vision or whatever. Or what's the word I'm looking for?
Hindsight.
Hindsight.
Is 2020.
Hindsight. If people go back and say, "Oh well, the Bears should have traded Justin Fields and drafted Bryce Young," like no one was doing that in April. Nobody.
No, it was a very minimal conversation at the time, and I think it got shut down real quick because by the way the Bears were acting, and it was clear that Ryan Poles in his second year as a GM was not going to make a bet on a guy who stands 5'10" and weighs 180 pounds. He just wasn't going to do it, and I get it. So, but
by the way, he's still 5'10" and weighs 180 pounds.
He does, but he's getting some nice love. Not quite the same, but so Nick Sirianni. Talking about Jalen Carter over in Philly, who, of course, the Bears passed on. Quote, I think you just see their athletic ability and drill work. He's talking about both Carter and Nolan Smith, the Georgia guys. You're seeing the things that we saw, obviously, on tape of what they do well and the power, their athletic ability, their personalities. And apparently, Jalen Carter, as far as OTAs go, dude was in fine shape. He was able to get through all the drills. Paying attention to Jalen Carter. Now, if he has a huge year, is anybody going to freak out?
Yes.
Yes.
there'd be
that's a yes. We got a yes. All right.
But I think he's in the perfect situation in Philly. When you look at the roster that's in place, all the defensive linemen they have, all the Georgia players they have, like that's a nice little home for Jalen Carter. I don't know if that would have been the same here.
But
with the
if
Bears.
you were a potential overall number 1 pick,
It's true.
and if you're a guy that someone spent the 9th pick on, and plus a 4th rounder, you shouldn't need the perfect situation around you to come in and be MFer from the start.
I agree. And
I don't think the question's about what he can do on the field. It's off of it. That's the whole thing with Carter. Did the Bears have enough in place?
That pro day, though, was...
Yeah, no, it wasn't good.
well, and look, he prioritized the quarterback, wanted to get him help.
Right.
So,
I mean, that's going to be that will be a decision that we draft polls on, right? And he already has a couple of bad decisions with Velus Jones Jr.
The Chase Claypool
I think
right now.
the Chase Claypool. I don't know if you're willing to throw Kyler Gordon in there yet, but
Nah, not yet. Not yet for me.
it's
at least.
creeping. It's a little creepy for me. But not. I mean, I think he's fine. I'm not super excited about it, but I think it's fine.
no, he might be a fine player, but it's like,
Yeah.
Is it going to be a win? At the end of the day, is it going to be a win for Ryan Poles on his draft record? I don't know.
I would bet no. I'd bet it's C+, B-. Peter Skoronski into the starting lineup as a left guard, which the Titans gave him some snaps at left tackle, but they are moving him right into the starting lineup. By the way, he hasn't started. He hasn't played left guard since 6th grade, but they look at him like he can literally play anywhere.
Okay.
That
was the selling point, right?
Yeah, so that's what's happening with Skoronski. I thought this was funny reading about Jack Campbell, as Dan Campbell is already going at him. I think with any young player up in Detroit, he's smart enough to understand what's going on, but he's not processing it fast enough because he's young. Gets on him fast. The speed of the game's different, and that'll come. Perhaps the Lions made a mistake overdrafting a linebacker in the 1st round that most people had was going to be in the 3rd round.
Yes, he probably got overdrafted. I like Jack Campbell though. Go Hawks.
I know he's a Hawkeye. How about, you want to hear how Jackson Smith and Jigba's doing? I do.
Yes.
Geno Smith, quote, he's so impressive. Very smooth route runner, natural hands. Also, the game is not too big for him. You can see he's got that self-confidence that you look for. And he burned ILL Devin Witherspoon on a wheel route for a touchdown. A lot of people wanted JSN around here.
If it's a little easier
I'm
with
exhausting
DJ Moore.
Kevin right now.
Well, but here's the thing: like we can
go
through the clips of the from Bears camp the last 2 months, and we're going over here going nuts over. Oh, look at Roschon Johnson, man! He cleaned up some water bottles. Like this is how it works. People come in, people say nice things about them until proven otherwise.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. There's more. There was nice things said about Quentin Johnston, Derwin James. Quote: he's that guy. Him being able to get open, him being able to have the confidence to be able to go through his drills and be able to, every catch, he's finishing his runs. He dropped because they were worried about the drops.
Yeah.
But my guy, the Danimal, Dan Hampton, thought he was the best wide receiver in the draft. And Zay Flowers, they're going nuts about him. Lamar Jackson, Zay is shifty. Zay is very fast, explosive. He can stop on a dime.
Zay. I like Zay.
I'm just paying attention to, because the Bears made a fairly bold selection with Darnell Wright. I think it was it made sense, but there were a lot of dudes that, in theory, could have one who could have massively impacted the defense. I wouldn't have taken him, but I'm going to pay attention because that we have the right here to second guess and third guess, or not even the right, but just that's what we do. And then, it'll be interesting to see if any of those wide receivers are just absolutely dominant. It'll hurt a little bit at least.
I don't know if it will though, Mark, because look, if Justin Fields is putting up numbers because he's able to stay upright,
okay,
like that's the thing with Darnell Wright. Like he's never going to get as much recognition as literally any of these guys. Probably, Skoronski's probably in the same boat because he's an offensive lineman. But if Justin Fields is healthy, slinging it, and getting DJ Moore involved, then that Darnell Wright pick looks a lot better if Khalil Herbert's running the ball more effectively too. Like that's the thing. Like Darnell Wright's never going to get the love that a lot of these guys that we just talked about are going to get.
And we can't give Darnell Wright as much love right now because there are no pads and you're not going to be able to see it. Although Cole Kmet said he did the greatest somersault in the history of somersaults for a 330-pound being. So listen, maybe Ryan Poles hit an absolute home run with Darnell Wright.
Just gotta wait and see. Honestly.
But I do think it. Hey, Bears fans, it is okay to have an eye open and just see what the other rookies are doing. And
right now in another universe, another team podcast is talking about Darnell Wright quotes and that somersault.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Did you see this Darnell Wright? Like,
yeah, well, hey, right. Maybe down in Arizona, they're looking at. Although Paris Johnson Jr. is getting a lot of nice love too, so I don't know. It's how I spend my morning. Just checking out the old rookies around. What would bother you more? Let me just ask you this: Bryce Young is the greatest quarterback ever, or Jalen Carter is eating quarterbacks. Which one would bug you more?
Jalen Carter.
I think Jalen Carter. I wanted Jalen Carter a lot.
Lawrence, you got to take on this one?
I don't know. I don't really care.
You want the show to be over?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's it. All right, we're. I guess we're at the end.
Sorry.
This is the end.
This is the end as we know it. Hoag's back tomorrow. I guess the show's remote. I learned on this show that although Tuesdays have been remote for a while, so I should have known that. Yeah. It's always good to end the show on a positive note, like looking up and seeing Ronaldo Sloan. Can Carman be replaced? No, I can't. I stapled myself to this chair. There's nobody can replace me, Ronaldo. Going nowhere, buddy.
Irreplaceable.
We're all replaceable, Ronaldo. They think about firing me every single day. So we'll see. Maybe I'll be here tomorrow. Maybe I won't. It's the way it is.
Need you for softball, Carm.
Hey, shout out. Oh, so 8 o'clock tonight. I know you all want to come out to Mozart Park and see the CHGO softball team. You're batting second tonight, Nick. You've been crushing it in the 2-hole. So
let's do it.
A new
It's
lead
looking
up.
like July 10th will be my debut.
July 10th?
Hey,
Yes.
let's go.
Circle the date on the calendar.
There we go.
We're waiting
Breaking
for
news.
Lawrence.
All right. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Next show coming up here is anybody? Who knows it? Who knows the
Blackhawks.
schedule? Hawks.
Here
2
come
p.m.
the Hawks.
Ahead of content.
The mighty
has it, yeah.
Blackhawks.
Boyson's in the building. He looks ready. All right. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Thanks for watching. Appreciate all the likes. Appreciate all the comments. We'll see you tomorrow at noon.
Oh, that's it. We're done, huh?